Let's go. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Brian Ferrati podcast. Thank you so much for being here, checking out the pod, supporting not only the episodes where I have guests jump on that we've been dropping quite a few lately, but also I appreciate you supporting my new project, which is podcast, the audio version of my weekly newsletter that I email out. My goal is to deliver that information to you in 15 minutes or less in this audio, or deliver it in 5 minutes or less within my writing. So once again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe at brianfrati.beehive.com. And today we're getting into a newsletter that I wrote recently called Ali Abdaal Could Change Your Life. So Ali Abdaal, he has a sick story. He went to med school over in the UK and then started creating content on YouTube. Pretty insane. He ended up stop being a doctor to create content, which I highly recommend you check out his YouTube channel. But more importantly, as of late, he dropped a book called Feel Good Productivity. So with dropping that book, just like how there's book tours, there's freaking book podcast tours. So just kind of like how I listen to my music. So when I'm training, if I go for a run and I do listen to music, I usually listen to like one artist all the way through. So I'd pick like Morgan Wallen or Mike or whatever that may be, and I listen to that artist all the way through. And I kind of do the same thing with podcasts. So I picked Ali Abdaal. I checked it out on Modern Wisdom, My First Million, How I Write by David Perel. He has a 2-part podcast with Ryan Holiday on the Daily Stoic. And then I basically binge listened to Ali Abdaal about his book drop and what he's been diving into with this idea of feel good productivity or having fun within the process. And I wanted to share that with you. So here are the 5 things I can't stop thinking about from Ali Abdaal. The first one is an absolute killer. So Tim Ferriss, everybody already knows Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss podcast, was in the podcast game really early. He has this principle that is, what would it look like if this was easy? So you ask that question, maybe you're working through a challenge at work, or maybe you're working through some challenges in a sport that you're trying to play, or you're coming back from an injury. You ask yourself, like, what would this look like if it was easy? And this has been one of my guiding principles, probably since like 2016, 2017, when I was diving into like Tools of Titans, another book by Tim Ferriss. But Ali Abdaal evolves that to, what would this look like if it was fun? So I know everything can't always be the best time of your life, but maybe when this podcast kind of turns into a grind sometimes, or maybe I don't know, I got to do laundry or something, I'm like, okay, what would this look like if it was fun? How could I have an instant perspective shift and almost do like when you update your phone overnight? How can we have a software update where I could change my approach to the thing I'm doing, kind of the thing I have to do, and I update it to, what would this look like if it was fun? Honestly, it just popped in my head. But you think about that as a parent. You want to have a child, you want to be a parent, you want to raise your kids, but sometimes they drive you insane. So maybe pause, go for a 5-minute walk, and then you got to run it back. Being a parent, what would it look like if this was fun? And I mean, I'm not a parent, so maybe I shouldn't be giving that advice, but maybe that can help impact your day and upgrade, be a software update for your perspective now that you're done listening to this podcast. The second one I loved, and he talked about Oliver Berkman, who's the author of it's like Time Management for Mortals, but also it's like the 4,000 Weeks book. But basically, it's like our to-do lists are infinite. So no matter how much time we have, we're always going to write down, like, we got a bunch of shit we got to do. So this makes me think of my mom. My mom had a bunch of to-do lists when she was a teacher. She taught for over 35 years at a high school. Now she's retired. She's still got a fat to-do list. Nothing's changed. So maybe the things on her to-do list have changed, but it's like our to-do lists are infinite. So we must make the decision of, what do we want to spend our time on? So basically, Ali Abdaal talks about, first, you want to write out your ideal week. So you have 2 separate calendars. You write out the calendar that you currently have. What's your work week look like? Are you hitting sauna sessions with the boys Wednesday nights? Are you going to jiu-jitsu maybe Mondays and Wednesdays? Okay, that's a snapshot of mine. And then you write out your ideal week. So perfect case scenario, how do you want to be spending your time? And does what you're doing match up with what you want to do? Are those similar? And I loved how he said like zoom out. Like it's hard to have a perfect day, but we can have like an ideal week. So you're not going to be able to do a lot of things every single day, but you could be like, Monday and Wednesdays I'm going to train jujitsu. Saturday I'm going to go to cathedral and I'm going to write. And I think that's a lot more applicable to people's lives instead of trying to have this ideal day and then you match up every single day the exact same. Like we know each day Monday through Friday and through the weekend, they're going to have those ebbs and flows. But I think if there's one thing from this entire newsletter, it's writing out your ideal week and seeing if it matches up with the current week that you're doing. The other part I liked was he had this after the ideal week, it was the energy investment portfolio. So you basically just write out a long list of everything you want to do, which shit, that's me, man. I freaking write lists all the time. And one thing I've really been challenging myself is asking myself what is essential. And maybe that's why I loved what Ali Abdaal said. He said, after you write that energy investment portfolio, you take 3 to 5 things, and that's what you're going to focus on. And you can't do it all. So those 3 to 5 things, I believe he said it was like a quarter or for half the year or even committing to the full year. He said it's a great opportunity to practice saying no and keeping your eyes on the correct target. Yeah, if you could only work on 3 to 5 things for this whole year, what would they be? Moving into the next one. Oh man, absolute killer. One of my favorite things that I learned from the author Austin Kleon. So he has Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, Keep Going. I love this. It's verbs. Do the verb. Do the verb. Do the verb. Verbs over nouns. I learned this. I remember reading Keep Going by Austin Kleon in Bernstein Bagels down at the bottom of Mississippi Street in Portland. And verbs are actions, nouns are titles. Simple. Okay. So are you pursuing a title? Are you pursuing a title or are you taking action? It all comes down to that. So I loved like it ties in well with like Bill Walsh, the famous coach of the 49ers. He always talks about like the score takes care of itself. So like, hey, I want to drop 49 points. I want to win. I want to be a badass. I want to be the MVP. I want to be like first team all league player. Like those are all titles. The verb is like knowing the plays, running the plays, practicing the plays, executing at a high level. And you're focusing on the actions you need to take and your habits versus focusing on the outcome or the title. So just like if you want a promotion, you're like, yo, I can't wait till I'm the CEO of whatever. It's like, what are the habits and actions that will get you to being a CEO? Kind of like if you're on the job hunt, like if you're looking through Indeed, you're like, oh, I like that title. Oh, I like that. It's like, how about you just develop those skills and habits that will actually get you hired into the job that you want? And the score takes care of itself. Like if you have those skills, you have those habits, then you will get hired in that potential position. But I I I really appreciated how Ali Abdaal and David Perel touched on this because David Perel said he kept walking around and saying, I want to be a creative force. I want to be a creative force. And then one of his friends asked him, like, hey, man, you're putting so much energy towards being a creative force. Like, did you do that before when you were just pumping out content on Twitter, short form essays, building out Rite of Passage? He just said, like, in the past, when you were writing consistently and you were a creative force, were you trying to be one? And David Perel was like, no, I focused on the action, the verb. And Ali Abdaal had the same experience. And it's cool because I know for me personally, in like trying to post this video on YouTube, it's like I really look up to Ali Abdaal. Or in my writing, I really look up to David Perel and I see those people as like, holy smokes, like they are legit. Like that's what I'm aspiring to be. And they are doing the same thing as me. Like Ali Abdaal said, he wanted to become a thought leader. And he wants to like collect thoughts. He wants to learn. He wants to read. He wants to synthesize information. He wants to share it publicly. He wants to connect with people. He wants to impact their life. So instead of trying to be a thought leader, why doesn't he just do all those things? Collect that information, share it, create videos, connect with people, listen. And yeah, that is one of my favorite ones. It's do the verb instead of be the noun. Like, yeah, I hope that one hits, and I really hope that one sinks in, because we do get caught up in these titles of we want the status, but maybe we forget about the habits, the actions, the decisions that we can make, that ultimately that's going to decide who we become, and that's going to play a bigger role in getting us closer to who we want to be. The Happiness Advantage, it was a book that Ali Abdaal had mentioned within the David Perell interview, and it's like a short little quick hitter. I made a little YouTube short on it because I thought it was so cool, and maybe this one will fly over people's heads, but he said, when you are happy in your job, that makes you perform better. It's not that performing better makes you happier. And I instantly thought about this in coaching, where are coaches only happy when you win? And then you get kind of caught up in like, well, maybe, but then when they win the championship, are they happy? And the same thing goes for athletes. And I know there's frustrations with politics, college athletics, or pro sport. And I can only speak on that. I can't really speak on anything else because I haven't really been in it. I've just been in college athletics and a little bit of pro sport. But it's true. Like, if you're not happy with who you are, who you're becoming, what you're doing, I don't think just like winning games will make you happy. So one more time, Ali Abdaal said from the Happiness Advantage, when you're happy in your job, when you are happy, sorry, I got to run that back. I messed that up. But when you're happy in your job, that makes you perform better. It's not that performing better makes you happier at your job. I mean, it's a slippery slope. Like, imagine if you were only happy if you did well in a team sport. So that means all your teammates are in control of your happiness. That one is freaking huge. The closing one is just 2 holiday questions. And I loved how David Perell, he posed this idea, but it was, what do I want to be celebrating in 12 months? So I listened to these podcasts when I was driving home to see my family for Christmas. So I kind of built that out, and it was like, basically I said, what do you want to be hyped in all caps about to share when you sit down for Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve dinner? So you're sitting, maybe you're like, yo, can you pass the rolls? I'm trying to get some dessert. I'm put some butter on this roll. And then someone's like, yo, what have you been up to? And you're juiced. You've been itching for them to ask you that because you're like, yo, I did this. So what do you want to be hyped to be sharing? What do you want to be celebrating? And then actually, after I posted this on my Beehive newsletter and emailed it out, I stole this from Jesse Itzler, rocking his hat right now, All Day Running Company. You change it to will. What will you be celebrating in 12 months? What will you be celebrating in 12 months? Not what can you be celebrating? What do you want to be celebrating? It's what will you be celebrating? What is the thing that you're gonna do it? So, what will you be celebrating in 12 months when you're sitting around on Christmas Eve dinner and somebody says, "Hey, can you pass me the rolls? What else you been up to lately? Doing anything cool?" And then you're going to drop the hammer and you're going to give them the goods. You're going to tell them the thing that you said you would be celebrating. I will be celebrating in 12 months. But I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to not only listen to the audio version of my weekly newsletter, but also check out this YouTube channel. My first video that I'm trying to post of the audio version. I know not everybody's going to be reading it, and it's hard to read my weekly newsletter if you're driving in the car. So whether you're pulling into work right now or you're pulling into your driveway and you're getting home from a long day at work and you're about to see your family, about to be stoked, you're going to have that honey, I'm home energy. You'd be juiced up to see all of them and hear about their days. I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your time with me and checking out my newsletter. Just we'll run it back of the things that I can't stop thinking about. It's, what would this look like if it was fun? What's your ideal week, your energy investment portfolio, and the 3 to 5 things you're focusing on? Are you doing the verb, or are you just trying to be the noun? The Happiness Advantage. So you can go back to that. I'm not going to read that quote again. And what will you be celebrating in 12 months? What will you be celebrating in 12 months? Let me know what you will be celebrating in 12 months because I want to know and I'll celebrate with you. I'll hit you up around Christmas for anybody that reaches out about this episode. You'll get a text from me in December or a text each month. I will stay connected with you if you reach out. And I just really appreciate you guys checking this video out. I'm doing my best to put some stuff out on YouTube and keep it under 15 minutes. But yeah, thank you guys all for being amazing. Keep stacking those daily deposits and making every day the best day of the year. Until tomorrow.